So what do you get when you upgrade from a $50 fishing rod to a $250 fishing rod? Like with most products, guys, there's garbage out there, and there's other products where you look at the price tag and you're like, that thing better come with a 10-pound bass guarantee on the first throw. It's so expensive. So if you're a bit hesitant on dropping 2, 3, 4, 5x on a new rod, I get it. I was there too. So let me generally tell you what you're gonna get with a more higher end rod. So essentially you're gonna be getting a few upgrades on your rod, and I'm gonna use my Impulse rods as an example. Full disclosure, I kind of work closely with Impulse. I'm not exclusive with them, but I will start bringing more of their rods into my arsenal because I'm really happy with them. So this is my Impulse Energy Series 7-foot finesse spinning rod. I put a lot of fish on this bad boy in the last few weeks alone, and I don't like doing videos on rod reviews unless I have like 50 to 100 bass on them. This guy, in the past month, I probably have 250 bass on this rod alone. So been using it quite a bit. And this is my Impulse Original Series 7.3 medium heavy casting rod, and I probably put around 75 bass on this in the last couple months. So got a lot of time on this rod as well. So when you upgrade from $50 rod to a $250 rod, you're really gonna be upgrading in like 5 different categories. So the first category you're gonna be upgrading is you're gonna be getting a lighter rod. Now, for some of you who might fish once or twice a month, this isn't gonna be a big deal for you. But if you're out there fishing 2, 3 times a week, then how heavy your rod is going to matter. An observer once watched Kevin Van Dam and his casting, and he casted every 10 seconds, so 360 casts an hour. Okay, we're not Kevin Van Dam. Let's say we cast 100 times an hour. So a 6-hour morning, you're casting 600 times. And when you start doing it at that rate for days on end, the weight of your rod and the reel that you're using really matters. So on my Impulse rods, they have a low resin content, which makes them around 20% lighter than any of the other rods that I own. Now, for the original series, on this rod right here, it's actually made with Toray graphite carbon fiber, which makes it exceptionally lightweight. And you will see this with a lot of your higher end rods. When I say higher end, I mean, probably when you start getting to the $150 range, definitely when you're getting to the $250 range, you start getting more lightweight components, making it a lighter rig for you, which is gonna make a huge difference with all that repetitive action over and over and over again. So the second category you're gonna upgrade in is you're gonna get a higher quality blank, right? And it's gonna mean you're gonna have more sensitivity. And so you're gonna be able to feel those subtle bites that maybe you would not have been able to feel on a cheaper rod. Yes, can you still catch fish on a cheaper rod? Absolutely, so don't blow me up in the comments. I'm just saying, as you dial in the sensitivity of your rods and start to fully understand what that means, you're gonna feel those subtle bites, which means you're gonna be able to put more fish in your kayak moving forward. So think of it this way, the lighter your rod is, the more responsive it will be. You can also think of it this way, that weight is the deterrent of performance when it comes to fishing rods. All right, the third category you're gonna upgrade when you upgrade to a higher end rod is the build quality of that particular rod. You're gonna get upgraded line guides, right? It's not gonna compromise your line. It's gonna be braid proof. They're gonna have higher quality ceramic inserts. They're gonna be made of stainless steel. You're gonna get grade A cork handles, and let me share you a little bit about what that means. So you might have wondered why there's cork on a lot of rods. So cork actually has a lower dampening capacity than the EVA foam out there. And really what that means is it's gonna transfer vibrations better than that EVA foam handle that you have. There's essentially 3 types of cork grades. There's CG1, CG2, and CG3. Cork grade 1, 2, and 3. So on your CG1, your grade A cork is going to have your 90 to 100% clear of imperfections. Your CG2 is going to have between 80 and 90% clear of imperfections, and your CG3 is going to be the rest. So a lot of times when you upgrade to higher end rods, you're going to get those wind grips, and that's what you see here on the original series rod. Also, a lot of times you're going to get upgraded guide trains, which means you're going to be able to cast further and with more accuracy. And I know in the original series, you see things like this. This is a Sea Guide Alien seat. And as you can see, there's open areas on the seat, so where your fingers are actually touching the rod. And so those are open for a reason, so you can transmit more of that vibration, more of that sensitivity straight to your fingers. So it's the little things that start to matter when you start upgrading to higher end rods. All right, the fourth thing you're gonna be upgrading to is better warranties, right? If you got that $50 rod from Walmart, well, good luck with that. But a lot of times when you start buying higher end rods, you start getting better warranties, and the craftsmanship and the defects are covered for a certain period of time. And the higher the rod cost, the better those warranties are. All right, the fifth thing you're gonna be upgrading to is greater customer support, right? So if something does happen with your rod and you need to get it fixed, you don't wanna have to be trying to speak to someone from a foreign land or you can barely understand them or never get a response from, right? So you want to be developing a relationship with a company that is trusted. You can do that by going out there and checking out their Google reviews and their Facebook reviews to kind of see what type of customer service they actually have. I actually do this with all the companies that I associate with, and I know for Impulse, you go on their Facebook, they have like 160 reviews with a 4.7 rating, which is pretty good. If you head over to Google, they have 31 reviews, all with 5-star ratings. So Impulse, definitely a company that I like to work with because I know they're going to take care of you if you decide to get one of the rods. And the sixth thing, I guess I'm going to adding a category here, is a lot of times you get better comfort. I know on this original series, this fat grip right here, I don't have another rod in my arsenal that feels as good in my hands than this original series fat grip. And so, well done, Impulse. Don't change it. It's freaking awesome. So let me leave you with 3 things to consider. 1, be careful if you ever pick up one of your buddy's rods, the higher end rod, you won't want to pick up your ugly stick ever again. So simply by buying a high end rod, it's not going to make you a better angler, but this in the hands of someone who actually knows how to catch fish will actually help you significantly because of that increased sensitivity in feel. So cheap versus expensive rods are like cheap mountain bikes, right? If you hop on a cheap mountain bike versus a really nice mountain bike, you go from point A to point B. If you're on that more expensive mountain bike, you're going to have better gearing, better components, going to be more comfortable. If you have a cheap mountain bike, it's going to be harder. The components might break on you along the way. You're still going to get from point A to point B most of the time, but your experience is going to be completely different. Next, let's talk about diminishing returns, right? So if you go from a $50 rod to a $150 rod or a $250 rod, you are going to feel a significant difference between those 2 rods. But in my opinion, if you go from like a $300 rod to a $500, $600, $700, $800 rod, this is where you get to the point of diminishing returns, right? Because unless you fish like every day, like you're a pro, you do it all the time, you're not going to be able to feel the nuances that rod has to offer you unless you're doing it all the time and it is like one with you. What I'm trying to say, it's going to be really hard for the weekend warrior to know the difference. So just keep in mind there is a point, and it's different with every rod, right? And it's different with every skilled angler, but there is a point of diminishing returns. So keep in mind, don't get too crazy and find yourself in a rod for $800 and you're like, this feels just like my $300 rod. All right, guys, hear me out. I'm not trying to clown your ugly stick, right? I have a bunch of $70 Walmart combos, the Xfinity combos, and I have caught hundreds upon hundreds of fish on those bad boys. But if you're looking to upgrade your build quality, lower the weight of your rod, increase your sensitivity, have better warranties, and work with a company with really great customer service, you might want to consider upgrading from your current setup. So I have used and I have tested and I have abused, and I really like the Impulse rods. So if that's something you're interested in, head over to impulse.com and I'll actually save you some cash with the discount code Wendell10, give you 10% off. So depending on your rod, you can save 10 to 25 bucks. So I hope this has cleared up some confusion about what you get when you upgrade from a $50 rod to a $150 rod. And guys, on this rod, I have been absolutely slaying it on this lure right here. It is the $1.25 lure that nobody knows about, and I'm going to show you how to slay bass with it. So you can check that video out right there.